Hey everybody, it's Brad with the Big Family Homestead, and in this video I have been approached to participate in a collab video started by BamaHomestead. That's right, the BamaHomestead channel, and we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that beginning homesteaders make. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. So this is how this went down. I was watching some YouTube videos, and you find one channel that you like and you're scooting around, and I found this new to me rather, channel called BamaHomestead. I started watching their content and I'm like, I really like this content. And so I reached out to them and we started emailing back and forth, and the idea came about that we should do a collab video, and I thought, well, yeah, this would be a great way to highlight a new channel that you may not know of that I really think has got really good videos on it. We're all dealing with the same kind of stuff, but we all kind of come at it from different angles, and I really appreciate learning people's ingenuity and ways of figuring things out, and I got a lot out of their channel, and I think you will too. So the collab is 5 basic things that new homesteaders get wrong. And well, I started making this video, and so after you watch this video, you have to go over to BamaHomestead's and click subscribe and give them some sweet subscriber love and watch their video, and then they're going to pass the on to some other channel. But it was 5 mistakes that new homesteaders generally make, and I started coming at this from this perspective that I came at it from the positive sides, like don't do these things, do these things, because these, if you avoid doing the mistakes, then you'll be further off, better, yay, yada yada, yippee skippy. So without any further ado, here is the first of the 5 things that you should emulate so that you don't mess up. Planning is essential. Don't rush past the planning phase. Get out a piece of paper, map out your homestead, where you think you're going to have your garden, where you think you're going to have your animals, where you think you're going to do this, this, and that, and then inside each of those individual, topics, if you will, go ahead and map that out and mark out, okay, I'm going to need to have X amount of space for the corn, I'm going to need to have X amount of space for this, for that. And then once you've got that idea roughly fleshed out, make sure that you kind of go through it. Come at it with some different scenarios. What if scenarios? What if we get too much rain? What if there's what if the snows happen late during the season? Because you're going to want to think through as many situations and scenarios as you can, because you could get stuck with, let's say, your animals in a paddock that's too muddy because there's too much rain during the spring or whatever, and where are you going to take those animals? They can't stay in the mud all the time, or else they're going to get sick. So planning is absolutely key. Plan it out as much as you can, and run through test scenarios. That will definitely help you with success.
Check your zoning. Check your zoning. And check your zoning. Check your zoning, check your zoning.
To tell why, Mama? Because
you'll get hosed.
You might have to move.
We did.
You might have to move.
You might have, hey, but it's working out pretty good.
I'll tell you though, even though we got our loan through the USDA loan program, we found out that local law trumps their law. So even though they said we could have the animals we have, local law says, no, you may not.
Check your zoning.
Patience. Being patient is something that I struggle with personally. I don't like to wait on things. As a matter of fact, it's kind of funny in my world. I do videos and video production, audio production. I can't stand waiting around on computers, and it's funny because no matter how fast they get, I'm still impatient with them. And on a homestead situation, if you get impatient with your garden, you get impatient with your animals, you get impatient with projects you're working on, you'll end up cutting corners, you'll end up not harvesting, at the right time, you'll end up with all kinds of problems that you don't want to deal with. So you're going to have to train yourself to be more patient, to do the right job, to use the right tool for the right job, not just rush through things. And that all centers around being patient, understanding that things take a certain amount of time and you can't rush them. You're going to have to just chill out, get a fix on the situation, understand, and give each situation the appropriate amount of time, effort, yada yada, yippee skippy, that each project / animal / garden needs.
Get a mentor. Find the
most knowledgeable
person, the longest living in that
you can
area.
You can say they're chronologically more long in the tooth than say we are.
Yes. Find
somebody who knows what's what.
Thank you.
They've been doing it forever.
Yes. They know the most about what you want to do, and the easiest and cheapest ways to do it.
And if you can't find a person like that physically, get on YouTube.
Right. There are so many folks out there who know what they're doing on YouTube, and contact them. Say, hey, I have this question about this. They are so willing to help you with it.
Yeah, they wouldn't be on YouTube if they would just wanted to be in their little shell and not be exposed. But also, too, I'll have to add to your find someone who knows what the heck they're doing, but also be teachable.
Yes.
This goes along right with it, because if you're not a teachable person, if you don't have a spirit that can learn from other people, you're just going to waste your time and tick people off in the process.
Exactly. Be willing to do something new, unlike anything you've ever done before.
Because the smart person in the room said so.
Exactly.
Okay, so the last one, I think, is probably the most important one, is don't take on too much at one time. If you're coming at this lifestyle from any other kind of lifestyle, if you've not grown up in farming and gardening and all that kind of stuff, it can be very overwhelming to even learn one skill like gardening. People learn gardening across their whole life, and I've never met a gardener who honestly and truthfully will tell you they know everything about it, and it's because it's such a huge topic, skill, that it's a lifelong thing, and most folks never really feel like they've, quote, arrived. And now gardening is just one of many things that you're going to have to learn to do the homesteading life, being self-reliant. And when you start adding animals into the mix, and then maybe another kind of animal, and then, rabbits, and then all of a sudden, poof, you're doing gardening and all this stuff, it can quickly get out of hand. And you have to be careful, because if you're dealing with animals specifically, the mistakes you make can be in lives of the animals. You can end up taking the lives of the animals if you're not prepared, if you don't know what's what, if you don't have enough information or how to deal with certain situations. And yes, we all make mistakes, and we live and we learn, but I think that a wise person would not take on more than they absolutely can at any one time, because that's when mistakes get made. Things get overlooked, things get not enough attention paid to them, and you don't want to have that happen in a way that it just will tear down all of the efforts that you're trying to do, and in the side thing, hurting your animals. And I'll tell you what, here's a mistake that we've made, because I don't like to be the kind of guy that just says, here we are on YouTube, and these are all our successes, and we've never had any failures. We share our failures with you guys as well, because we don't want you to make the same mistake. A long time ago, when we were very noobs at keeping goats, we did not realize until it was too late that one of our goats had worms pretty bad. And it was only after she was really sick that we realized there was a problem. Took her to the vet, and the vet basically said, look, so we went and made her comfortable, but the reality is, had we learned a little bit more, had we probably not taken on as much as we did, we might have had more knowledge. Hindsight's 20/20, of course, and we didn't do it intentionally, certainly not. But maybe had we taken more time to learn, then that mistake could have been avoided. And so there are our tips. You can look at them as, you know, hey, do these things or don't do these things. I'm just trying to give you a little advice, and hopefully that will benefit you guys. So here it is. Don't forget to go on to the other channel, check out their awesomeness, and give them a little like, a little subscribe, and follow along with this collab. And hopefully, as we pool our knowledge together, everybody can add to the conversation, and we can all end up learning something. And you know what I always say is the rising tide lifts all ships. So there's a lot of information out there that I can benefit from you guys, and we can share what we have, and we'll all benefit from that. So with that, I'm Brad with the Big Family Homestead, and you guys have an amazing day.
My tips for homesteading is lots and lots of Legos, Star Wars Legos.
So you think new homesteaders should have lots of Legos, and that'll help you to be successful? That rocks. Thank you.
My tip for homesteaders to learn a lot of new wrestling moves.
Wrestling moves?
Yeah,
Well, you mean like the guys on TV?
yeah.
Well, which one would you propose first?
I don't really know yet.
Oh, well then we're not very good homesteaders because we don't have any wrestling moves, huh? Yeah.
I think homesteaders should have a nice swimming pool to be in the summer.
So when it's hot, they have some place to go swimming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's key. You shouldn't even begin thinking about having a homestead unless you have a swimming pool, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
My tip for new homesteaders is get a very, very big diesel truck.
A diesel truck.
Yes.
And that's going to help them to be successful how?
Yes.
Okay.
My tip for new homesteaders is that you need at least 20 or 30 horses to start out.
Horses.
Yeah,
Not horsepower, horses.
horses.
What are you going to do with all that poop?
Make a pile.
And then?
And then, another pile.
Okay. So you got a lot of poop.